Hey, g'day, it's Prezzo and welcome back to the Man Cave. Now this is episode 3 of repairing and restoring a pair of vintage Japanese tinplate cars. Now these were really popular back in the 1960s and 70s, and the pair that I have were given to me as gifts when I was a child. Now I've done 2 previous episodes in this playlist, and there's a link in the description and there's one up above there now. If you didn't see those, go back and have a look. And in those episodes I dismantled the cars, I repaired a lot of the damage to them. We put new finishes on the tinplate parts, so powder coating and also some zinc plating. And I've done a partial reassembly. But in today's video I want to put stickers on this police car, and I want to talk about how those stickers were made. And I've got to put new plastic in the front and rear windscreen frames for both of the cars. But we'll talk about the stickers first, because that was an interesting little exercise that I've never tried before, so let's have a closer look. Now these are the stickers I had made for the car. Now this is a printing technology called UV DTF. So the UV is ultraviolet, that's the type of printer that they use, and the DTF is direct to film. So these stickers consist of 3 layers. So there's a white opaque layer on the back, which is removed before you put it onto the surface. There's a clear film on top, which is also removed after you position the sticker and transfer it onto the material underneath. And what you're left with is a very thin but very opaque sticker. So I have to use white lettering on some parts of the car, and I don't know if you can see that, but this is great because it has to go onto a black surface and the white will be totally opaque. Now you can buy a water slide inkjet decal paper, and the only problem with that is that it tends to be fairly translucent. I have used it before and it works well, but to get white lettering on a black surface is very hard with water slide decals. Now these came from a company called PurePak, not sponsored. I paid full price for these, but their website address is purepak.com.au, and they allow you to upload your own artwork and they'll print your stickers to order. Now they weren't cheap, but I think it's the best solution for the job that I'm doing here. And I thought it would be worth looking at how I did the artwork for these, and I did it all using CorelDRAW, but you could use Inkscape if you're after a free program that does the same job. So let's head over to the screen and I'll show you roughly how I went about it. Now before I stripped any of the original stickers off the car, I took reference photos of all of the stickers. And I also measured either a width or a length or a diameter of each one of the stickers, and then I was able to put the color image, the actual bitmap image, on the screen of CorelDRAW, and alongside each one of those images I started to recreate the vector art. Now vector drawing is a bit like CAD, so you start with primitive shapes like lines, circles, squares, Bezier curves, and you recreate each one of those shapes bit by bit, layer by layer. And once you have the basic outline, you can start to fill that with a color or a shade or a texture. Now, as soon as I was satisfied with the overall shape and color, I was able to scale the images to match the original sticker, because they tend to be about 10 times bigger than you actually want them when you recreate them over the top of the bitmap image. So knowing the overall dimensions was really important and allowed me to scale it back to be the correct size. If you are doing this in any sort of vector drawing software, it's really important that you start with the CMYK color space. Now CMYK is cyan, magenta, yellow and key, which is black, and they are the 4 process colors that printers use. Now if you forget and use RGB as your color space, which is red, green, blue, and create your stickers and get them printed, they'll come back and they'll be a totally different color to what you expect. So the RGB color space is only used for representing shapes and photographs and stickers and so on a computer screen, but for printing you must use the CMYK color space. Now once I created all of the stickers and I was happy with them, I scaled them back to be the correct dimensions. I made a JPEG image of the entire sheet of stickers, and that's what I uploaded to the PurePak website. Okay, let's have a look at how they're applied to the car. I'm going to have a go at putting one of the stickers on the car, and we'll do this big police crest on the trunk lid or the boot lid. And all I've done here is I've put a piece of tape across the back and I've marked a center line. and this will represent the top point of the star on the crest. And according to the instructions, what you need to do is to turn the sticker upside down and then squeegee this white back quite hard, and what that does is it bonds the sticker to the clear film on top. I've got my reference photo here so I know where the sticker has to go, so I'll give this a try. And they say to use like a credit card or a plastic card or something like that as a squeegee. It's really important that the sticker comes off on the clear film and not on the white backing. Alright, so what we should be able to do now is peel that clear film up, and the sticker should come with it. Wait till I get a blade so it's easier to separate the two. Okay, so we should be able to get a blade in here. So you can see that's coming up with the clear film. So I just need to be very careful about positioning this. Okay, now again you need to squeegee this down quite hard and then peel the clear film back. So I'm going to put this on a steel block that I've got some padding on so I can get the squeegee onto that and rub it really hard. So this is just a steel dolly, and I've put some soft foam on top of that. And I can put the back of the car on that, and that gives me something hard to press on. Now I've got a spare one of these, so if it all goes wrong I can peel this one off and do it again. Alright, let's see what happens. Alrighty. Okay. So I'll go ahead and I'll do a couple more, but worryingly I seem to be missing some of the stickers. Either I've lost the sheet or I didn't send them off to be printed, but we'll get the ones on that I've got and we'll see what it looks like. I'll do this siren. According to my photo, this goes around about there. Alright, they look great. Let's try some on the roof. Alright, they're turning out okay. I need to find that other sheet of stickers. Who knows where they are. And I'll go ahead and put the rest on off camera. If I can't find the other sheet, they were all black stickers, so I might be able to do those with a water slide decal. Yeah, it's a bit of a mystery as to where they've gone. Alright, I'll be back soon. Well, it's the next day. I've actually solved the mystery of what happened to the missing stickers. Now these are the 6 stickers that I need for the car. I actually only need 3, I think. Yeah, 3. But I made extras, and what I should have done is transferred these vector files to the main sticker sheet that I sent to the PurePack website. So here's a look at the main sticker sheet. You see there's a big space in the middle where these should have gone. That old dumbass here just forgot to do it. So I probably did it late at night and didn't double check and just sent it off and forgot about it. But this actually gives me an opportunity to show you how to use this product here. Now this is called a water slide inkjet decal paper. You can buy this in packs of 5 or 10 or 20 sheets, and there are 2 different styles of this paper. There's one that has a clear background, which is this one, and one that has a white background. And all you need to do is prepare your artwork, then print it on a regular inkjet printer, but make sure you do the photo paper setting when you do this, and then we need to waterproof that ink. So we're going to spray it with this stuff here, a clear acrylic lacquer. We'll give it 2 coats, then when it's dry you can cut the stickers up and we'll put them on. So let me get this ready, and we'll go ahead and put them on the car. But these will end up with a really flat looking sticker. You won't sort of feel any transition, which is what you get with these. You can sort of feel as you run your finger over it that there's a slightly raised sticker on that surface. But that's the best we're going to get. I'll give that 2 coats, and all that does, it stops the water from dissolving that black ink. Let's put that out in the sun for about 15 to 20 minutes. That's fully dry now. That clear acrylic does dry very quickly. So we can cut this up now, and you want to cut away as much of the background as you can. Okay, so there's all our trim stickers. I'll do this patrol on the back of the car here, and we're just going to pop these into some water, just clean water, and just push them under the surface. And then you give it about, I don't know, like a minute, and it will start to slide off. And when the paper starts to flatten out, as you see it doing there now, they're getting close. So once we dampen that, you just take it out and then just try sliding off that sticker. It's coming off there now. All right. So you get a bit of time to align everything, and then you want to blot up the excess water. And these will flatten down as they dry. Well, there it is. It's not exactly the same texture as these stickers. These are really shiny. This has got more of a dull texture, but from a distance I think it's going to be fine. Okay, so So there's the finished car now with all the stickers on it, and you see how great these white stickers came out on the black paint at the back there. So what we need to do now is get on and do the plastic for the window frames, and then we can get on and do the full assembly. And by the way, these little door handle stickers, they were really hard to do. There's a sort of a raised section behind that, and it's quite curved, and you have to sort of push the sticker down really hard onto that curve. But yeah, overall, really happy. This is what's left out of the frame that went on the blue Fairlane. And as you can see, it's pretty well mangled, and some of these were missing altogether. So what I've been able to do with this one is simply digitize the outline shape of that piece of plastic. Now I've already done this, so I'm going to sort of do a dramatic recreation for you. And all we do here is flatten this out as best we can, and then trace around the outline with a really sharp pencil. So sometimes you've got to do this a couple of times, and then there's bits that are missing on some of these pieces, so you've got to try to fill in the blanks as best you can. Alright, probably couldn't see much of that. But there are some slots, and I'm going to try to draw in where those slots would be. Okay, so there's our pencil outline, and I'm just going to tidy this up a bit. Alright, I'm going to cut this out with a pair of scissors now, and the reason I chose yellow paper is that it's going to look, I'll give it some contrast on the scanned image. I found that you need to erase as much of the pencil as you can, except for where those slots are, because that will also scan on the colour image, and when we go to digitize this, we'll pick up the pencil lines, like stray pencil lines, and that takes a bit of cleaning up on the digital image. Now at this point, after you cut out the paper template, you can try it in the frame and see how well it fits. And if you need to do any minor adjustments, do it now. Probably using a sharp knife would be an alternative to using scissors. Okay, so there's our paper template, and like I say, you can try that now. Put it in the frame, see if it fits. It's not bad. Now you might say, why don't you just trace directly onto the plastic film that you're going to use to make this part from anyway? Why didn't I do that? I think it's because I didn't have the plastic film when I started this process. But I think working with paper is a lot easier too. If you mess it up, you can just do another one. If you're going to buy a piece of plastic film and you mess it up too many times, you might run out. So what we're going to do now is put this on the scanner, and we'll scan that image, and then we're going to clean it up digitally, and then eventually it's going to get laser cut from a piece of very thin tinted plastic. Okay, to the scanner. Once we have that image scanned, that gets dropped into CorelDRAW as a JPEG image, and you want to crop around that as much as you can. Now at this point we use a process called tracing. So in the traced image, all of the bitmap pixels are removed. We end up just with a vector outline. Now you need to explode that vector outline. Basically disassemble it, and you'll get a white background, you'll get some yellow areas, you're going to get some grey or brown areas, which were the pencil lines for the slots, and all of that needs to be cleaned up and tidied up. So with the vector outlines from a scanned image, they'll have stray points and extra points that you don't really need. They can be deleted, and then straighten out the edges of that vector image. Any of the blotchy bits that you don't need, they can just be deleted. And once you've got your single color vector outline, I use red, then we can go to the laser cutter engraver, and it will actually make a replica of that vector outline. Now you may need to scale the vector image, and you can do that by measuring across the paper pattern that you've already done and just simply scale to match that dimension. And then we should be good to go and actually cut this out on the laser cutter engraver. But even then, after you've done that, you may need to edit that vector image slightly. I had to do that with a couple of the pieces of plastic to make sure that they actually fitted. Alrighty, let's go to the laser cutter engraver and we'll cut them out. Now that we've got our vector images, we can start cutting out the plastic from this material here. Now I tried really hard to buy something that was the same colour and thickness and stiffness as this plastic here. The best material for this would be PET plastic. You cannot use PVC in a laser cutter engraver because it liberates chlorine gas, and as well as being harmful to breathe, it also corrodes all of the interior of the laser cutter engraver. Now I ended up buying this stuff here. Now this is like a plastic divider for binders, and it came in a pack of rainbow colours, and there was blues and greens and yellows and reds and so on. Now it's not exactly clear, but I think it's going to be okay, and I chose a sort of a light green to represent the tinted windscreen for these cars. So let's try cutting a couple out and see how they look. In this folder here I've got all of the different iterations of these pieces of plastic. So I think I started with this purple one here, and this needed refining. The slots weren't in the right place, so I altered that. I got the blue one next, and then eventually I cut it out of this green material here. So this is going to be the final colour that I'll use in the window frames. I think if it was a lighter blue I would have used that, but I think this green works okay. So we should be able to put that into this frame now and bend over all the tabs. So we've got to put it through the opening in the roof first. So the way this works is you just simply align it all and just drop the slots over the little tabs. Okay, so we got that. That's the outside there. And we should be able to put all of this in place. Okay, so we end up with that. Now we can turn that over and bend those tabs over on the inside. Okay, that's it. Now yeah, it looks a bit wrinkly. Not sure what you can do about that. But this one was missing altogether. It was just completely broken, so I think that's as good as I'm going to get. Okay, I'll do the rest of these off camera and I'll show you what they look like when they go on the car. I went ahead and reassembled both the cars, and I didn't bother to video that because it's a lot of messing around. You've got to manipulate all the parts into position, sort of straighten things out, bend the tabs over, and it just doesn't make good video, so I didn't bother. Now, I was able to get the siren working on the police car. That worked out really well. One of these stickers got damaged, and I only just noticed it when I was editing the video. So a corner of this sticker had chipped off, but luckily I made extra stickers because I sort of anticipated there might be a problem. These are actually quite brittle once they go on, and they're really hard to get off. You've got to soften them with a heat gun and then peel them up bit by bit, and they leave a sticky residue. But I got the replacement sticker on there, and that's fine. And with this Fairlane, I had a lot of trouble fitting these long chrome trims on the edge of the panel. Panels themselves weren't straight, the chrome trims were badly damaged, but I think overall it looks okay. I was not able to repair the friction drive on this one. The pinion was too badly damaged and I couldn't find a replacement, so I didn't bother. Now, am I disappointed about using zinc instead of the nickel cobalt? Yes. I think the nickel cobalt would have given a much better finish, but given the state of the material underneath, I don't think it was going to work, and it wasn't worth the risk. Now let's go and put these up in the room. I'll show you how I'm going to display these, and yeah, I reckon they turned out great. So this is where the cars are going in the room now, and that box on the wall there is made from some Australian red cedar that I bought at an auction many years ago. And these types of display cabinets were very common back in the 1960s and 70s. They would often have multiple boxes arranged in a sort of an interlocking geometry, and it gave you lots of spaces to put small ornaments, small pieces of china and so on. But I just wanted space for the 3 cars, and that little car in the middle I'll talk about in a minute. But on the floor underneath that display box I've got a new piece of furniture. Now this is a console table that also doubles as a luggage rack. Because this is a guest suite, we often get people coming and they've got big suitcases, and it just allows you to put the suitcase somewhere up off the floor so you don't kick your foot on it every time you walk past. But that's made of Tasmanian blackwood, the same material I used to make the bed head and the lamps. And the frame underneath that rectangular box was quite a challenge to build. And it's fairly typical of the mid-century modern period. All the legs are splayed at angles, so there are no right angles or very few right angles in the design. And it was quite a challenge to be able to work out all the angles and clamp it all together. But it's a nice simple piece of furniture. I think it complements the room. But let's have a closer look now at the cars and that little one in the middle. Now when I first built this display case, the space that you see in the middle there was originally intended for this beautiful glass bowl. Now this came from my grandmother, and I think it was purchased back in the 1960s, and I figured it was just perfect to go in that space there. Unfortunately, when I put it in place, when it was eventually up on the wall, I realized that you don't get to see any of the beautiful glass colors on the inside there. So it just looks a bit lost in that space. But one day my wife was out shopping and she found this. Now this is a 1962 Chrysler Valiant S Series. It's a beautiful car. This is a brand new die-cast version, but it's just perfect for that space there. So that's where that goes now, and I'll show you where the glass bowl is going. So this is where the glass bowl goes. It's alongside the lava lamp and on the guitar pick table. Now I did build videos on both those projects, and the links are up above there now, and they're also in the description. But I think that just sort of finishes off this corner of the room. Oh, I'm not going to get into trouble when my wife gets home and sees the cat stuck in here while I had the door open. They love getting up on there and sleeping, but they leave dirty marks on the bedspread. So good on you, Raph. I'm in trouble now. You're like you care. Well, that's all for today, and thank you very much for watching. Now, I just wanted to let you know that the next couple of videos coming up are both metal machining projects. They're both going to be collaborations with other YouTube channels, and I think you'll find them really interesting. And I mentioned that I was going to show some wildlife clips, and that one of these is really special. Now, the reason for that is it's an animal that we don't see very often, but they are actually common. It's a baby or a juvenile koala. And the reason you don't see them often is that they just tend to sit up in trees, and they're quite well camouflaged, and you won't see them unless they move, which is what happened in this case. So keep an eye out for it. It's a beautiful animal, and they are worth protecting. But for now, I want to say farewell, and I'll see you next time. It's Prezzo signing out for now. Cheers. These poor kangaroos are constantly tormented by march flies, and they sting and they bite.